Well, hello, my radio friends. This is going to be a quick video. I am restoring a Zenith TransOceanic at the moment. And, of course, here's your main filter caps. There's 4 caps within. Obviously, they've got to be replaced. No big surprise. Let me show you what I did. Slide that off, and there are your new caps. What I do, because the underside of the chassis is so crowded and it's difficult to get to the connections on the bottom of the chassis without digging around and possibly causing collateral damage, I replace them from the top. Take a heat gun, heat this paper cover. There's tar on the inside. Once it gets soft, slide this cover off. Take this I use a little handy little hacksaw blade here. I saw the top half of the filter cap off. Take a screwdriver and remove the guts, if you may, on the inside of this cap. And at that point, you are left with 4 contacts on the phenolic plate. Drill a small hole and next adjacent on the inside of each of those contacts all the way in, and I will post pictures. So you could drill 4 holes adjacent to each one of those contacts, and 1 hole directly in the center. That's going to be your ground. I highly recommend axial lead caps. Works well for this application. I take a single wire, I solder it to the ground connection underneath, bring it through the center hole, and that becomes your ground connection. And then the holes that you drilled adjacent to each one of these contacts, slide the positive lead through and solder it to the connection underneath respectively. Makes for a neat, clean, and tidy recap, and without having to dig underneath to unsolder and twist wires off of contacts that are difficult to get to. Once you have it recapped, now you will notice I have 3 caps here. There's actually 4. The 4th one is a tiny little cap. It's a 200 by 10 volt cap. Very small. I'd solder that underneath from the ground to that respective contact. It's very small. After you got it recapped, take this cap. Oftentimes I will put some hot glue on it and slide it back in place, and your recap is essentially invisible, top and bottom. In fact, allow me to flip it over, show you the underside. If you could see it well enough, I don't know, but the underside recap. Whoops, where we at here? There we are. The underside recap is essentially invisible as well, with one exception. Here's this tiny little cap that I mentioned earlier that I soldered underneath. But it makes for a neat, clean recap, because like I say, once again, these connections underneath here are difficult to get to and get the wires off of because of location. So anyway, this gives you one more option on the recap. It's I'm not saying it's exactly the right way, but it's Dave's way. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all following, and I will post pictures with all this as well. So thank you so much. And of course, as always, until next time.